Hi, welcome back. We're now including the muscles of the epaxial systems, those which are present on the dorsal aspect of the vertebral column. We in general will follow them from cranial to caudal aspect, and then we'll look at each and every system individually. So first of all, in the superficial dissection of the neck, we can put those things back. These are the rhomboideus muscle. We reflect it upward. Then we see the serratus dorsalis cranialis. We reflect it downward. We already have reflected your serratus ventralis muscle, the thoracic part and the cervical part. Remember, those are attached. The cervical portion attaches to these transverse processes of the cervical vertebrae. We can reflect it ventral, so we can expose the epaxial muscle systems. The most superficial muscle that we see now in the neck, after reflecting your rhomboideus muscle, all the different parts, as well as reflecting fascia of the or aponeurosis of the serratus dorsalis cranialis, that is your splenius muscle. The muscle has been transected in the middle. The muscle would be the most superficial one, which is present from the thoracic region, from the spinous process or from the dorsal midline, and it will continue further towards the head. Below the splenius, we have parts of the longissimus system, specifically the longissimus cervicis and longissimus capitis are seen. We'll look into those one after we reflect the splenius muscle. Coming more laterally, only one part of the iliocostalis system would extend further into the neck, that is the last tendon of the iliocostalis, that would be seen here. Okay, let's move backward. In the thoracic region, we see the same systems again. We see the most medial one is your transversospinalis system, the middle one is your longissimus system, and the most lateral one is your iliocostalis system. All the three systems are going to continue backward, but then depending upon the region, their sizes would vary. Iliocostalis, we can trace it all the way back here. The muscle becomes much bulkier here by the time it originates from the pelvic bone, usually from the ventral part of the wing of the ilium as well as iliac crest. Okay, let's look at each and every system individually. So let's first of all look at the iliocostalis system. As the name indicates, it comes from the ilium to the ribs, iliocostalis. The part which is present in the lumbar region is iliocostalis lumborum. The part which is present in the thoracic region is your iliocostalis thoracis. To see the iliocostalis muscles more clearly, you may have to pull the serratus dorsalis cranialis more ventrally, and then you can see the tendons ending on each rib all the way to the last cervical vertebra, and that is all your iliocostalis system. The most lateral system of the epaxial muscles, which extends from the pelvic bone to the last cervical vertebra, but no furthermore. And so the iliocostalis has two major parts, the iliocostalis lumborum, iliocostalis thoracis. Let's now move slightly on the medial aspect, look at the longissimus system. The longissimus muscle, they would also originate from the pelvic bone. We can see differentiation between the iliocostalis muscle systems and the longissimus system by this kind of depression here, dorso-lumbar fascia, that will still cover the longissimus muscle system as well as the transversospinalis muscle system. So let's come back to the longissimus system. Originating from the pelvic bone, extending further into the thoracic region as well as into the neck region, that is your longissimus system. Part of the system which is present in the lumbar region, we specifically call it longissimus lumborum. The part which is present in the thoracic cage or along the thoracic region is your longissimus thoracis, and as it goes further into the neck, those are the longissimus cervicis. Now, in order to see some details of the longissimus system, you may have to reflect the splenius muscle, and as we reflect the splenius muscle more laterally, we can reveal some more muscles down here. As long as the longissimus system, the muscle tendons, as long as they end into the cervical vertebrae or on the cervical vertebrae, that would be referred to as longissimus cervicis. One bulkier muscle part which extends further to the head is your longissimus capitis. So by looking at this longissimus capitis, which is the cranial most segment of the longissimus system, we can differentiate longissimus system into four major four major parts: longissimus lumborum, longissimus thoracis, longissimus cervicis, and longissimus capitis. So these are the different parts of the longissimus system. Remember, these are muscle systems, not single muscles, because the fasciculi, they would continue from one place to the other, and they would continue, and they all would comprise the system of muscles, so it is called longissimus system. Same is applied to the iliocostalis system. Now let's move more medially. Again, follow it from the back towards the head. We're now looking at the transversospinalis system. At the center, these are the spines or spinous processes of the lumbar vertebrae, as well as we can palpate them forward, the spinous processes, as long as we come into the thoracic region where the muscle becomes more bulkier. So just lateral to the spinous processes, we have these muscles which can be differentiated from the longissimus system. Those are all different parts of the transversospinalis system. Beginning from the sacral vertebrae, it will continue further because it comprises the muscles which are associated with the vertebral column itself, running between the mammillary processes and the spinous processes. Those are your rotator muscles. From the spinous processes, skipping some of the vertebrae, going forward, those are the multifidi muscles, as well as semispinalis muscle. As we come more forward in the thoracic region, this one which is present more superficially, that is your semispinalis thoracis. The muscle which is part of the transversospinalis system is semispinalis thoracis, and as we go further upward, the two major parts, they form the semispinalis capitis. So when you combine both of these muscles, which has been transected in the middle, both of these muscles would form semispinalis capitis muscle, which has two parts. The dorsal part is biventer cervicis muscle, and ventral part is the complexus muscle. So both of these are parts of the semispinalis capitis. We saw the semispinalis thoracis, semispinalis capitis. Here it is also called semispinalis and spinalis thoracis because spinalis muscles are located right underneath those and very closely associated with the semispinalis thoracis. So here, this region, this is your semispinalis thoracis, semispinalis capitis. Underneath the semispinalis, you're going to find the spinalis muscles, which are even more closely associated with the vertebral column. Sometimes they might be excluded from the transversospinalis system, but for the sake of general consideration, we're just going to include them in the transversospinalis system. Now, as I transect the biventer cervicis muscle as well as the complexus muscle, we go in deeper parts of the neck. Here we can see the nuchal ligament. The nuchal ligament which extends from T3 to the caudal end of the spine of the axis. That is the nuchal ligament which is present along the midline. Below that, these muscles, those are the spinalis cervicis. The deeper muscles which are associated with the vertebral column, those are the spinalis cervicis muscle, which are present below the semispinalis capitis. So let's review those again. So we have the transversospinalis system can be differentiated from the iliocostalis as well as longissimus system by means of the space between them, but it can only be done once we remove the dorso-lumbar fascia and even located superficial to that, which is thoracolumbar fascia. Unless we remove that fascia, you cannot see the differentiation between the longissimus system and the transversospinalis system. So let's follow the transversospinalis from back. We're coming forward, following the transversospinalis system, semispinalis thoracis. Located below that, we have spinalis thoracis. As we come into the neck, the larger muscle, which is made up of two different components, which is semispinalis capitis, which has biventer cervicis and complexus, two parts of that muscle. Going underneath that, you find the nuchal ligament and the spinalis cervicis muscles.